What's up, everyone? I don't know if I'm live on both yet or not. We'll redo that. What's up, everyone? Travis Holofka here with the Human Upgrade Project. Human Upgrade Project. It's not that hard to say, is it? Anyways, at some point I'm going to get better about doing these, maybe during some normal business hours when other people are on the interwebs also, and I can interact a little bit. But until then, this is going to have to do. Real quick, I'm going to keep this going. I did this on my personal page and I like it. So why not keep doing it? Random squared at the beginning here, which is bizarre national holidays here in the United States. Tomorrow is Lost Sock Memorial Day. So it's time to really sit down and remember those lost socks that you've misplaced or that the dryer has eaten, because you'll never get them back. So with that said, I'm going to jump right in here. A little frustrated tonight because went to ballet and my my calf, which I haven't explained here yet. I'll do another episode about that and the whole damage that was done to the lower right quadrant of this body that has been a bit of a interesting journey for the last 4 months. So it's only about 80% right now, my right calf, and it gets tired really quickly. So I was just super frustrated after ballet, and that's just a random side note. It really doesn't have anything to do with how I learn or changing habits and testing them. So that's what tonight is about. How do I learn? How do you learn? And I don't try to change habits. I test them. And why do I say that? Let me tell you basically how I got started in ballet. That'll help. I've got a few examples here that'll make sense as to what I'm talking about with how I learn and why I don't try to change habits, but I test them. And I test other things too. So with anything, I start with my philosophy of why not. Start with why not. Simon Sinek, who is a genius at what he talks about. If you don't know anything about him, look him up. He has a start with why. I did not come up with this based on his start with why. It has nothing to do with that. I just have always been this way. But I just found it kind of fascinating that he had to start with why. And I've always done start with why not. And what I mean by start with why not is when I got into ballet, some of you know the story, some of you don't. I had just finished a powerlifting competition. For those of you who don't know what powerlifting is, it's squat, bench, and deadlift as much weight as possible. Luckily, the side effect of that is I have muscles. So it works for that. And I'm just a small power lifter. Anyways, I walk into the gym after this competition, after this meet, and one of my friends that works there was like, hey, we need help at the ballet school with partnering class because we don't have enough guys to work with the girls. And I was like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know anything about ballet. And he's like, it's really easy. It's really fun. You're strong. You can pick up the girls. They're a little tiny anyways. And I was like, you know what? Why not? And using that philosophy throughout my life has gotten me into a lot of very interesting circumstances and situations. I do have a line. I don't say why not to anything. Like if you offer me crack, I'm not going to say why not. So I'm like, why not? Let's try it out. And that has led to everything that I've done to date with ballet and has been really good. But what happened was, so I go to ballet, I show up, all right, pull up to a ballet school. I don't know if you've ever done something that isn't even on your list of things to do in a million years, but you you're like, I'm going to try this and see what happens. And I pull up, I'm like, okay, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. I don't know anything about dance. Closest thing to dance that I'd ever done is country two swing and country swing and two-stepping when I used to rodeo and growing up. So, which is nothing like ballet, if you don't know. So I go in, walk into the school, and I think I'm wearing sweats and just like a tank top or a t-shirt or something. I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. And it was just really weird and kind of, because all the girls are in their little leotards basically, and their tights and everything, and I'm just, me and the guys are just like in sweats and stuff. And there's only a few of the guys. And it was kind of cool. So I was like, you know what, I have a two-step process on the why not. And this is something that you might want to apply in different areas of your life. My why not process, standard operating procedure goes, why not? I'll try it once. If I don't hate it, I'll try it a second time. And then I'll decide whether or not I want to continue learning it. And that's where the learning phase comes in. So that's what happened. The second class I went in and I was like, you know what? This is challenging. I don't hate it still. I still don't hate it. I think I want to continue doing this. But if I'm going to continue doing anything, if you're going to do anything in life, you might as well do it to the best of your ability. Or why do it, right? So I asked the guy teaching, and I said, hey, I am enjoying this. I don't want to just come and not know I have no idea what you're talking about. No idea. It's all French. Sous, relevé, en dehors, it's just, I don't know what you're talking about. So he says, start taking a class. Cool. So I started taking classes. And then from that point on, it was like, hey, do you think you can do this? Do you want to try this? Do you want to do that? Next, I'm in the Nutcracker. Just got done with the spring ballet. On and on and on. That's kind of the short version. So start with why not on things that you want to learn. The next version of this goes into, depending on what you're doing and what you want to figure out, it might take a little bit longer. For example, I learned if you've heard of the Wim Hof breathing method and cold exposure and all of that, for those of you that know me, I'll have to do another one about this too. So I'm really into cold exposure and breath work. Found out about this guy, Wim Hof, like 3 years ago, maybe 4 years, a while back. Listened to a bunch of interviews, found out that he had a 9-week program. Based on all the interviews I listened to, I was like, I can create this. So I made my own version of his program, did it for 9 weeks every single day, then realized I probably should learn from the guy that's teaching this, bought his program, did it for another 9 weeks, and then optimized it to work in a way that was efficient and effective for me. And that's the part where a lot of people forget. They think, here's a recipe and I have to follow it or it's not going to work. That's not how life works. You have a way of doing things that works for you that's not going to work for me, and vice versa. I think I've mentioned this before. That's what gets into I don't change habits. I test them. And by that gets into the experimentation also. So I do a lot of experiments, and they're in the same realm. So I have the habits and the experiments, and they kind of go hand in hand, because when you learn anything, you learn more about yourself, and you learn about how you can change the habits that you want to change or that you don't want to change. And based on research that was done from the University of Cambridge in London, I think that's where it was, the University College of London, sorry. It takes anywhere from 18 to 254 days to change a habit. So apparently that is a big study. Long ago, and you guys may have heard this before, I heard that it takes 21 days to change a habit. Then I read a book that has this information in it, and also says that the estimate average is 66 days. So I'm like, what is it? 18 days, 66 days, 254 days, 21 days? I like 21. And it's more about what you think is possible, again, and that's what all the Human Upgrade Project is about. What do you think is possible? What's going on in your head that's going to make you believe that you can do something within either a certain amount of time or at all? So, my standard for anything is 21 days. Because if I can't do something for 21 days, then I obviously don't want to do it, right? I've had things in the past where it's like, oh, something came up. No, unless I die or somebody I know dies or some other act of God happens, if I don't complete the 21 days, then obviously I didn't want to do it. And that's something to look at in your own life too, I think, is because a lot of people are like, oh, well, something came up. I had a really hard day at work. We all have hard days at work. It's the truth, right? Everybody has things going on in their life that nobody knows anything about. And thinking that thinking that I have some special hurdles and struggles that other people don't have is just a little ridiculous if I think that. So, I mentioned this last night, and this is the 21/28 day protocol that I use for learning anything or doing experiments or even changing habits or testing habits. And the reason I say testing, learning, or all of that is because the 21 day takes 21 days to break a habit, to learn something new, whatever. What I do, and this works really, really well for me, I suggest you test it out. It's all about experimenting. N of 1, if you know about science, means one person is testing it. I do all of my experiments or habit changes that I want to do. Anything that I want to experiment on, learn, or change in my life, I typically, unless it's the 9-week thing that I need to, unless there's something that you just, is circumstances beyond your control that you need to do it for longer or shorter, then 21 days is the template that I use. So for 21 days, I will do a certain task, a certain experiment, a certain habit, a certain daily routine. And then on the 22nd day through the 28th day, I evaluate whether or not I want to keep doing that. So 21 days is what I do to see how it's working, if it's working, all of that. Then the next 7 days are just complete evaluation and integration. 1, evaluate whether or not it was beneficial. Is it something that you want to keep doing? And if it is, how can you integrate it into your life? And again, it goes back to if you really, really want to integrate it into your life, you will figure out a way to do it. I've taken the breathing, the breath work that I learned that originally, over the 18 weeks that I did it, ended up, by the time I was done, I was spending anywhere from 30 minutes minimum up to 45 minutes just breathing in different sets. And I was, it just took a while in the way that I was doing it. I don't have an extra 30 to 45 minutes a day. I have a few things going on. I have things to train for. I have ballet classes. I have work, normal business, all of that. So what I did was I figured out a way to condense it, make it still effective, and make it efficient, and optimize it. And now I have different versions that either are 5-minute, 10-minute, or 15-minute, depending on how much time I have and what my body needs. But that's because it's something that I wanted to do. And that's what it comes down to is, what do you want? So, I thought this was going to be a little shorter than this, but apparently I'm at about 15 minutes right now. So to recap, how do you learn? I'm talking about how I learn. Be aware. And that goes back to awareness too. I'm going to talk about awareness a lot. Awareness, perspective, and philosophy are huge. Awareness about yourself, your surroundings, how your body and mind work. Perspective, not just your perspective, but other people's perspective, and whether or not you can see things from those perspectives. And your philosophy, like I said, like why not? Why not try things? Why not be remarkable? As I said in another live on my personal page, if you even have a glimpse of discipline in your life, you're already so far ahead of everybody else that all you have to do is take another step forward towards the thing that you want to accomplish. Progress, not perfection. That's important to remember. So, going back to the beginning. So it's how I learn, how I deal with habits, and testing. Always be testing. That's what we say in what I do every day online. You don't know if it works or if it doesn't work until you test it. And you don't know if it works for you until you test it. And you don't know if it works for you unless you're aware of your mind and body. Quick example, diets and nutrition and all of this. You have people, drives me bananas. This drives me crazy, and you'll understand what I'm talking about right here. So how many people do you know that are like, I did this diet, I did the keto diet, or I changed to become a vegetarian or a vegan, or I changed to this, and I feel amazing, and my health is so good, and all of my skin's clear, and I sleep good at night, and it's all because of this diet. Really? Could it be, and this isn't 100% accurate all the time, every day, always, but could it be that maybe sometimes the people that are doing that are having these amazing results, and I'm not negating the amazing results, I'm negating the awareness of why they actually worked. A lot of times what happens is the people are eating like McDonald's every day, and then they decide to just eat good food. And they attribute it to this one miraculous diet instead of the fact that they just changed from eating crap to eating good food. And that's part of the learning process. It's part of the experimentation. It's part of testing. So, speaking of testing and experimenting, I'm on day 3 of my sleep test, my 21-day thing, 21-day experiment. And it's not so much an experiment, it's more I'm dialing things in because I have all the information. I've been doing this my whole life. So this is what I do. I take all this information, I dial it in to see what works, what's easy to do, what's moderately easy to do, or what's difficult to do. And by those I mean what's going to take me least amount of time, a moderate amount of time, or an extended amount of time. And it depends on my goal, right? I'm willing to take an extended amount of time if I need to because I'm doing ballet and powerlifting and a lot of other things, and I want to make sure that my mind and my body are as strong as possible so that when I'm dealing with business also, I don't have to worry about being weak minded or physically. So day 3 of this, I'm going to continue to compile data on what I'm doing. At some point I may put a big list of things together that are things that I've either tried or things that I'm planning on trying, and make that available for everybody so that you can see what the scientists are saying, what I'm saying, and what is currently working for me. and possible recommendations on what you might want to try. So, with that said, always be testing. And, oh, geez, Louise, I got to look at my other screen here. Okay, since I'm at the end here, let me see what's on here. What's up, Peter? You still here? Vana? Vana's always up late. Natalia, are you on too? So, I actually had a few people on. That's kind of cool. Anyways, 20 minutes. I think if I keep these around 20 minutes, that's cool. Until I get somebody on here, I'm going to be interviewing eventually. I'm going to be interviewing my buddy Spencer down in Phoenix. Next time I go down there, down in Scottsdale, the guy that is a miracle worker for professional athletes and other elite athletes, and he fixed up my leg for me to be able to do the spring ballet. And nice, Peter. So I want to do an interview with him because he has a lot of knowledge around testing and things like that also, and how the human body works and the mind. And we have the same mentor, same friend that we learn a lot of stuff from, that I'll be bringing up from time to time, and maybe I might even see if I can get him on here and do an interview and see what else we can learn. It's all about learning how to learn, knowing how your body works, knowing how your mind works, knowing how they work together, and then being able to apply that knowledge to anything in your life so that you can become as remarkable as you possibly can. So, with that said, I know it's nighttime, but I love this sign off, and I got to thank Saromi for this. I'll have to get her over here and let her watch this, but make it an amazing day, because it's better than the alternative.